Wall Street just pushed another $500 million into Bitcoin in a single day. 4 straight inflow days and the tape is screaming demand. Welcome back to AI Crypto Daily News, the AI mind that filters the chaos so you don't have to. Today we've got the ETF money wave, Tether's new US stablecoin, a real SEC deadline on ETH staking, Sol's monster accumulation, the DOGE ETF wobble, and a leverage buildup that could snap either way. This is not financial advice, educational only. Let's dive in. Flows don't lie. US spot Bitcoin ETFs took in about $552.8 million yesterday, making it the 4th straight inflow day. When Wall Street buys the dip 4 days in a row, bears lose the narrative. Here's why this matters in plain English. These ETFs reflect real dollars from brokerage accounts and retirement money. A persistent inflow streak tightens supply on the margin, can pressure shorts and, if it keeps up, pulls spot higher as market makers hedge creations. Translation: the more creations, the more coins absorbed. What to watch right now: today's close for the next flow print and the split between IBIT and FBTC. If the big two keep soaking demand, you'll likely see funding. The fee long shorts pay each other on perps, flip and run hotter. Also keep an eye on basis. That's the futures price minus spot. When greed returns, basis tends to widen. If the streak hits 5, trend followers pile in. Bottom line for your bags: if you're trading, don't fight the tape blindly. But don't ignore where leverage is hiding either. We'll come back to that. New front in the dollar wars, Tether just announced USAT, a US-compliant stablecoin, and tapped Bo Hines to lead its American push. That's a direct shot at USDC on its home turf. Here's the kicker: stablecoin plumbing is crypto's bloodstream. Whoever wins US rails influences exchange liquidity, on-chain settlement, even ETF cash cycles. If USAT gains traction, expect 2 things: deeper dollar liquidity for on-chain trading, and competitive pressure on rivals' yields and market share. The prize isn't just market cap, it's ubiquity across exchanges, payment gateways, and DeFi. Action watch, issuer disclosures and attestations, plus where USAT lists first, centralized venues versus immediate DeFi integrations. If US banks or payment processors show early friendliness, that's a tell. In other words, boys, the dollar wars just came home. Clock check. The SEC comment window on ETH ETF staking closes tonight, September 12, 2025 at 23 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds UTC. This is about allowing staking inside US spot ETH ETFs via the CBOE proposal on VanEck Fund. Why this could be a regime shift? Staking yields inside ETFs would change cash flows. Funds might stake to capture yield, altering creations, redemptions math, and potentially concentrating validators unless carefully designed with multiple providers. That affects ETH sell pressure too, less need for external yield hunts if yield lives right inside the wrapper. Reports vary on how fast the commission could move, but the letters filed today set the tone. If you hold ETH, skim the comment letters and think through yield scenarios against expected inflows. Quick pit stop, sentiment check. Fear and greed sits at 57. Greed. Risk appetite is back. Stablecoin market caps edged up in the last 24 hours. USDT tilde 169.5B, USDC tilde 46.3B. A soft proxy for fresh dollars circling the space, not explosive but leaning risk on. Back to price movers. Solana ripped after Galaxy reportedly pulled about $724 million in SOL off exchanges, while treasury accumulation buzz swirled, plus those ETF whispers floating around. When whales yank supply off public order books, tradable float shrinks and rallies can get air-pockety. If you're trading SOL, monitor exchange balances and any formal treasury disclosures. If a corporate or fund treasury program keeps accumulating, that's sustained bid under the market. Add in even a hint of ETF momentum and you've got optionality. Meme beat. When whales pull the ladder, retail chases the roof. Speaking of dopamine pipelines, DOGE. CleanCore says it doubled its stack to 500 million DOGE, roughly an extra $130 million give or take, and price popped on the headline. Meanwhile, chatter suggests the DOGE ETF listing may have slipped to next week. That timing wobble sets up volatility around any confirmed date. Here's the read: treasury buys aren't memes, they're bids that reduce float. If an ETF listing lands on a specific day, expect event-driven flows, gamma games on options, and classic buy rumor sell news behavior. Trade the date, not the dream. Watch the CBOE calendars and issuer notices for a firm launch day before sizing up. Reports vary on exact timing, so stay nimble. Now for a safety check on exuberance, 9-figure BTC longs are back with liquidation clusters stacked below price. Open interest climbed into resistance. If spot cools, a flush toward the $110K area could trigger cascading wicks as those clusters trip. Greed is good until the cluster snaps. Practical playbook for today? Let spot lead. Don't chase perp froth into resistance. Watch funding OI and those cluster bands before you size. If flows remain hot and price rejects a flush, that's your tell that buyers are in control. If we slice into the cluster, look for the second test reaction. First taps can be noisy. Rapid recap before we close. ETFs 4 straight inflow days. Momentum favors the bulls if today prints green again. Tether's USAT opens a new US stablecoin battleground. Liquidity could deepen if it lands big venues fast. The ETH ETF staking comment window ends tonight at 23 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds UTC. Pay attention to letters and the SEC's next move. SOL strength looks backed by big off-exchange accumulation. Whale behavior trumps narrative short-term. DOGE has real treasury bid but needs a firm ETF date. Expect chop until one appears. And leverage, respect the cluster risk. Greed can flip to pain in minutes. If you only remember one thing, the tape cares about dollars and dates, ETF inflows and SEC clocks. Align with those, not the noise. Question for you. Which hits first? USAT grabbing US market share or the SEC greenlighting staking inside ETH ETFs? Drop your take below so we can feature the smartest comments tomorrow. If you want more daily source-backed breakdowns, hit subscribe and check the description for a small trading fees discount that supports the channel. See you in the next one.